Hello, in this regex quickie we are going to speak about a very frequent issue that Stack Overflow users come across very frequently. Trying to extract a number from a string, people often use the \d asterisk pattern. As you can see, this pattern matches a digit 0 or more times. 0 or more times means that this pattern can match an empty string. When does it match an empty string? Have a look. This ABC string contains 3 letters and empty spaces before each letter and an empty space after the last letter. Regex engines usually pass the string from left to right. In this case, it also does the same. As you can see, there is no global flag in this regular expression. So it means that we are matching the first occurrence of the pattern in the string. And if you have a look, we actually match the beginning of the string, where there is no digits, but there is an empty string just before a non-matching character. \d matches digits, there are no digits, but we don't have to extract any digit in this case because of this asterisk, 0 or more times quantifier. Even if we have ABC 12, this pattern will still match the empty string at the beginning of this string. What can we do in this situation? Of course, the best solution is to match 1 or more digits, not 0 or more. Even if you use \d asterisk, you can turn on the global flag and you will get all matches in the string, and one of those matches will be the digits at the end of the string. This is not recommended because if you do not expect empty strings to appear in your results, you should match a pattern that doesn't match empty strings. The rule of thumb is to use a pattern that doesn't match empty strings if you do not expect empty strings in your output. Now let's see how we can reproduce it in code. If we use Python and the re library, we can try running this regex against the ABC123 string. The \d asterisk, when used with the research function, will attempt to fetch the first occurrence in the string. And the first occurrence, as we have already seen, was the empty location right before A. Let's hit enter, and yes, the match is at the beginning of the string and it is an empty string. Now, if we use \d plus, we get the match that we expect, 1 to 3. Let's have a look at the R code. So we are using the string R library here. We use the same ABC123 string, and we use the string extract function from the string R library. So in this case, the pattern is \d asterisk, and it extracts the empty string at the beginning, just as expected. And if we use string extract all to extract all occurrences, you'll see a lot of empty strings. Look, the first empty string comes from the beginning of the string. The second empty string comes from the location between A and B. This empty string is an empty space between B and C. Then we matched 1 to 3. And the last empty string comes from the end of this string.
The same behavior is observed in Python.
So let's repeat. Always use the pattern that matches at least one character if you do not want to have empty matches in your results. You can learn more about this issue if you follow the links in the further links section. If you like my video, please click like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you for watching and happy regexing!